What the heck is up, guys? It's your boy Bobadorf here, and today I'm going to be going over Broly and what the heck we're supposed to be doing with him on block. Because ever since he ate them nerfs, bro, this character sucks. Just kidding, not really. Let's go ahead and get into the video. So before breaking down Broly's new block strings, we first have to break down what the heck are wrong with them now. You know, what went wrong? And well, that's pretty simple. Our system works are really silly. There are some goobers. They rather are some nincompoops, and they have flabbergasted me and other ZBroly players beyond belief. They nerfed both 5S and 2M. So 5S is now -9 on block up close, and 2M is now -11. Yes, you heard that right. You can get hit with a medium starter if you try to do your 5S against certain characters and your 2M. Not only is that horrible for your block strings, but Broly in and of himself does not have a safe gapless move to end a string on. His 2M and his 5S were those. Right? If you try to do your 236L, you're -9. If you try to do your 236S, there's a gap, right? A small gap, yes, but a gap nonetheless. And if there's a gap in your string and you're playing DBFZ, you best believe you will get level 3. Right? It's just the law of nature. People online, they like to mash, they like to do everything but hold block. And bet your bottom, if there is a gap in your string, you are gonna get level 3, okay? That is the big downside of Broly right now. However, I'm here to teach you some things you can do to help avoid getting pimp slapped across the face by a level 3 or a Vegito 5M. Alright, now before we get into the really nitty-gritty part of it, I ask that if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It helps way more than you think. And if you don't like it, I'm going to go home and I'm going to steal your nipples while you're sleeping. So if you like to keep those, like the video, you worthless sack of garbage. Anyway, and if you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and leave a subscribe as well, because there's going to be a lot of it coming your way. All I can say is, buckle up. Yasha! Now let's move on to the next section. Alright guys, for this guide, I'm going to get a little bit freaky with it. I'm going to put the clips by itself without commentary first, just with the text, and then I'm going to put my commentary afterwards. So, for the people who just learned just by watching clips, they can rewind the clip and say, okay, that's the block string, I'm good. That's what the clips are for. For people who want things explained to them a little bit more thoroughly, I'm also here for that, right? So this section is going to be me explaining what we just learned. If you don't need this, if you don't give a beep, skip to the next one. You don't need to watch this, alright? Let's go over the strings I just talked about. So, the basic string that works on the entire cast, and it's Broly's safest string now, is just 2L and then 2 hits of auto combo. That leaves you at -2 in their face, right? which allows the 5L to actually hit if you want to continue your pressure. We know that the 5L hitbox can be very sussy. It does not hit them at max range. That's an issue with the hitbox itself, okay? It just doesn't hit them from there. 2L will hit them from here. 2 and 4L will hit them from here, but 5L does not, right? So for Broly's second hit of his auto combo, right, he whips his Stanky leg right out at the perfect range for the 5L to hit after the Stanky leg, right? At the perfect range. You don't have to continue in 5L because they're both the same frame distance, right? They're both -2. So anything you do after one, you can do after the other, right? So after the second hit of auto combo, you can instantly air dash deceptively quick. Right? Just don't do the last hit of auto combo, please. Deceptively quick after that. You can just stop into a Dragon Rush. You can just quickly dash block, or back dash if you're not facing a fusion, who has a 5M of God. And one more thing. 5L into 2L, which, if you remember from the clips, this actually leads into another safe string that Broly has that he can reset with. Right? So let's say he doesn't mash the first time. Now he's gonna mash after this. You're still safe. Even though this is -9, and usually you'll get hit by a medium, because of the pushback that this leaves you, you're actually safe after that, right? Being able to do a medium, especially your 2M, after 2L, is very important for one reason. At this distance, this leads perfectly for a cursed AF left-right cross-up that Broly can do after 2L, but they have to be crouching, right? They have to be crouching. You can threaten them and make them crouch, essentially, by throwing the 2M in there. And then, by making the 2M safe, you'll be able to do either or relatively safely, okay? I will explain the cursed cross-up a little bit more in the next section, in the mix-up section. But essentially, you get to choose whether you're left or right, and it's absurdly quick. So the opponent, yes, he can 2H, and yes, he can do everything as any other air dash attack. But the fact that you get to choose which side you end up on is pretty strong. They do have to be crouching, though, so keep that in mind. All right, and so for the last section, against characters without gargantuan buttons, so let's say you're facing a Bluku or something similar, you can just do you can still do his normal string, right? And you can engage in the Ki Blast RPS if you want to. Bluku's medium is very good, but it does not hit faster than 9 frames, so you're still safe, right? And if they do mash, you hit them with 5H. If they don't, you can try to reset your pressure, go for a grab, right? So those are pretty much his 3 main strings. The simple one, that's always safe. This one, that's safe against the big boy buttons. And then the same one he did pre-patch that works against people with normal, more balanced buttons. All right, that's easy enough. Let's move on to the next section. Okay, now let us break down that section. The first thing that I want to say that you have to be aware of is that for these short little dudes, these tiny characters, these rats that plague us Broly players, the jump in, jump medium, and jump light will not work. So that jump in mix up, the 2 hits of the jump in does not work. Of the instant air dash, it does not work. The cursed cross up, it also does not work on the small characters. There are too little, they're too itty bitty. Characters that you have to be aware of that are itty bitty, that are probably you're going to see a lot. Android 17, Android 18, and Krillin if you ever play Garlic Bread. If you play casual and you run into a bunch of different characters, all the small ones, so like Kid Buu, Videl, stuff like that, will not work on them, okay? Keep that in mind. However, you can still kind of do the same mix. It's just not as potent because they don't have to worry about blocking 2 air attacks, if that makes any sense. You can still whiff the jump light into the 214L and it will still connect as if you were doing that same mix-up. You have to delay it a slight bit because you're closer to the ground, so they will be in block stun for a little bit longer, so you do have to delay it just a slight bit. And the jump medium has more block stun than the jump light, obviously. Okay, and for the cross-up, if you want to go to the other side on these guys, you have to do like a tiny little micro dash. A tiny little micro dash after the 2L. So as soon as you press 2L, start buffering a micro dash towards the end of it. Right? I start inputting it right, like almost 75% of the move. I start mashing a little forward dash in there. Right? Just get a little shimmy, a tiny little shimmy. You don't need very much. Right? The closer you are to them, the less shimmy you even need. Right? To get to the other side. Afterwards, remember, because they are small, do keep in mind it is best practice to run up a little bit just to make sure your 5L will connect with them. Okay? And if you want to choose to hit them on the left side instead, what you're going to want to do is jump after, you know, the normal cursed cross-up setup. You want to jump backwards first, right? You want to get a little bit of distance between them, and you want to jump backwards. So you jump up and back, and then you do an immediate forward air dash, okay? So if you were going to look at it number notation-wise, that input would be 7, right? 7, and then 9 forward. Got it? Okay. Okay, and now for the cursed cross-up against mediums and big bodies. This is who it works on. You're going to want to get a little bit of distance between them with those strings that I showed you beforehand, right? So this works with 2L, 5L, 5L, into 5L, 2L, and jump in 5L, 2L, right? You want to get like that distance right there between them, okay? Now to actually do the cross-up, you want to start holding up and forward right when as soon as you do the 2L, you start holding it, right? Because as soon as the 2L ends, that will make you jump. You want to get just a little bit of height to actually get to the other side. Then you press jump medium, don't wait too long. If you wait too long, it'll whiff, and it'll just go right over them and you won't hit anything. As soon as you press the jump medium so it connects, hit 5L because they'll be standing up at that point because they're still in the standing block stun from the jump medium. That's when you do the jump L, right? So it'll connect then and you get your string. To choose to go to the left side, you do the same thing as with the small guys, right? You hold up and 7 while you're doing the 2L. So you jump backwards first, and then you jump forward. Or, you can just delay a bit between 5L and 2L, right? Just delay a slight bit. And then instantly air dash, and you get to the left side instead. Alright, that's pretty much all there is to it. The next thing I want to talk about is his the gap between his 5H and a normal string, right? So the way this works is 5H leaves a gap that if they were to try to jump, if they were to try to vanish, 5H bops them. It slaps them right across the face, okay? After you 2M, you can also do a 214L, which is incredibly fast and very hard to react to. So once they're already worried about the grab, right? So that's what prompts them to jump or vanish in the first place. 5H catches those options, and it also looks very similar, right? Broly lifts his arm up the same way, almost the same way actually, sorry. Almost the same way in both of those animations. So it's already pretty visually hard to react to because it's so fast, and then it's hard to visually decipher which one he's doing. If they reflect the 5H, they get grabbed. If they try to escape the grab, they get hit by the 5H. One thing to mention, they can reversal you here. If they do a level 3 or a DP or something, you get bodied on both versions, right? What you can do is stop on the 2M to try and scope out the reversal. However, 2M is no longer a safe button. So if they know that you're trying to read a DP, they don't do the DP, they let you 2M and you stop, then they can start bodying you because this is -11. So just keep that in mind. Not as good as it once was for this 50-50 mix, but it's still there, right? In the heat of battle, you can catch someone with this every now and then if they're worried about something else. The next section, we're going to be talking about his barrier. This is very simple. It's a huge, giant, green, loud, obnoxious barrier. Dragon Rush is a green ring around the character. They can hardly see that you're going for Dragon Rush, especially if you just got them into a knockdown and they're already worried about their wake-up pressure. They can hardly react to that, right? It's so hard to see. Another good thing about this is that you can set it up with a teammate, right? You can set it up mid-string with a teammate. It is very, very tight, and you have to have a high blockstun assist, but you can do it if you want to. Also, while using it, speaking of teammates, you have your other mix-up options, which is the more universal ones, right? More so in the corner, you have your Super Dash mix. Oh, actually, yeah. For the Super Dash mix, there is a gap between it, so a reflectable gap, 2H gap, so just keep that in mind if they're expecting it. If they're not, it still works. Super Dash into assist. Broly's buttons are so big, he can still connect without having to do an air dash, so it is pretty fast. And then you can do your 2M if they're expecting the high. Your 2M is not the fastest, so don't be expecting to, schmix people out of their minds with this. It is pretty slow. Delay, actually, sorry. Slight grab in there, keep that in mind. And also, just don't forget about the universal option. I know it's a meme to say, oh, just universal mix-up, lol, 6M. But while they're worried about so much other stuff, they're worried about getting hit by the second hit of your auto combo. They're worried about that cursed cross-up. They're worried about an unreactable command grab. Throw a 6M in there. Just knock their socks off a little bit. Just every now and then, they can catch somebody. You got your 5L Dragon Rush, you got your assist, Dragon Rush. Keep those universal mix-ups in mind. Alright? With that being said, we're going to move on to the next section, which is going over his 214L in strings.
Out of my way. Gotcha! 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 Die! Gotcha! Out of my way.
Alright, was that really confusing? I'm going to try to break this down as fast as possible, because I feel like the commentary sections have been way too long. When it comes to Broly's pressure, you have to put the fear of the command grab into them in order to land the things you actually want to land. While landing the command grab is good, and in some cases you can straight up get a kill with the command grab, right? If you're level 3 sparking, whatever, it leads to a lot of damage. It's not your main goal. It just helps you facilitate that goal, right? What you want to do is land one of your big buttons. Land an attack over here so you can get a combo started. The main one you want to go for, right, if you're going to try to open up on anything, might as well try to open up with the Stanky leg, right? The Stanky leg is an unscaled starter. It does the most amount of damage. The way the grab fits into this is because it's unreactable. So the opponent has to fear this grab at any point during your block. If you continue to do it around your lights, the opponent will come to expect it around there and say, okay, I'm about to get grabbed right here, I might have to try to escape, right? They might try to preemptively escape out of it because they can't react to it. That's when the second hit of your auto combo, or that's when a staggered button comes in. You stagger a button, that hits them if they're trying to escape the command grab, right? They're trying to evade it, that's what hits them right then. If they continue to hold block, then you hit them with the command grab, right? If they jump out, they get hit by a stagger. The third thing they can try is a level 3. If you center your staggers and your resets around your lights, you will be safe from level 3s and if they try to mash to take their turn back. So Broly's pressure game is centered around the respect that they have and the fear that they have for you. If they fear the Stanky leg, if they fear getting hit by a button more than they fear the command grab will continue to hit them as long as they hold block. If they fear both of them, if they don't want to deal with any of it and they try to level 3, safely staggering and resetting your light strings will help you block those and help you block against mashing, right? If they try to evade, if they're more fearful of the command grab more than the Stanky leg, more than a staggered button, and they try to escape it, that's when a staggered button will hit them, okay? Those all three go together, and you kind of have to test the waters with your opponent to see how they react. Are they the type that just likes to mash? Are they the type that just likes to hold jump? Are they the one to do a reversal every single time? Do they just hold block infinitely? Grab them, okay? Broly also gets value in this grab, not just for himself either. If you have teammates, as I showed you before, some of them get Oki setups or full combos from your grab. And in some cases, like in the corner, you can get follow-up pressure afterwards, right? Don't do it as bad as I just said. You can get follow-up pressure afterwards, right? So there is value in landing his grab, even though it might not kill sometimes. It just puts fear into them so you can land the buttons that you want to land, okay? I hope that made sense. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I know this video was supposed to come out yesterday, but by God, I didn't think as much can go wrong as things went wrong in this video. I had to re-record almost the entire thing in these last 2 days, and I've been scrambling to get it out. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like. It will mean a lot to me. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more from me, go ahead and subscribe now, because I am planning on pushing out a lot more content than usual. I plan on doing multiple ranked matches a week on top of one big guide every week. So if you enjoy my content, let me know. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments below. Do you still like Broly? Do you think his strings are trash now? Is he too butt ugly? Is he too slow? Let me know whatever you guys think. And without further ado, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't see you next week, because I might take a break because this one kind of effed me up. But after that, I'll be right back to it. You guys go out, have a beautiful day, and have a beautiful Christmas.